Warning: those who are uneasy with horror or disturbing stories or thoughts should not listen to this. So if you're one of those people, I would advise that you go and watch something else, maybe I don't know, a nice film or something like that, because these case files are pertaining to a creature known as the Slender Man. And in this case file, I'll be exploring the nature of this being. I'm going to start with who or what is the Slender Man. The Slender Man is subject to folklore and campfire stories, and many don't believe in his existence. However, there is in fact much evidence to suggest otherwise. He is typically characterized as a tall man ranging from 6 to 15 feet in height, who appears to be wearing a black or grey suit, black or red tie, and white shirt. His face is not only expressionless but also featureless. He has no eyes, no mouth, no other facial features, and his head is white and hairless. The descriptions of his bodily structure, particularly regarding his upper limbs, vary depending on their source. Some say he has only 2 extremely long arms. Others say the same, only they argue that he also has many long snake-like tentacles, primarily protruding from his back, and others describe him as having many tentacles, but the arms are average human length. Most images of him depict his legs having a similar length to his arms. However, some images reveal his legs to be significantly shorter, and in these he can be seen using his arms or his tentacles to hold himself off the ground. Now we're going to move on to Slender Man's sightings. Many theorists say that the Slender Man has been in existence since the beginning of time. However, he has no specific history. There have been reports of the Slender Man as early as before and up to the 1600s, especially in Germany, where he has been reported to have stolen the attire of a knight or royalty figure. German folklore tales are also used as cautionary tales for children. Photographs of the Slender Man have been confirmed to run back as far as early 1800s throughout the UK, America, and Russia. During the mid-1900s, reports were confirmed of the Slender Man appearing in Germany, which is supposed to be the Slender Man's native soil. The reports pertained mostly to soldiers and missing children. The Slender Man has also been framed for individual cases of children's disappearances. Now to his appearances through history. Perhaps the earliest Slender Man sighting are 2 wood carvings but by the famous German woodcutter named Hans Freckenberg in 1876. The first was entitled Der Ritter, which is German for the knight. It depicts a being with several abnormally long limbs. This seemed unusual, as Freckenberg was known for his accurate sketches of the human anatomy. The second was similar to the first, only this time it depicted Der Grossmann, which is German for the tall man, taking a child away from its family. It is said that in 1891, Freckenberg went out to get some more wood for his next carving, and never returned. The next confirmed sighting took place on the Henderson Horse Farm in 1953. The neighbors called in the local police complaining of screaming and gunfire coming from their farm. When the police arrived, they found that all the horses in the barn had been ripped apart, as though by a wild animal. Inside the house, they found fresh blood scattered about the walls and floor. After a while of searching, they found the owner of the farm. Ted Wilcox Henderson, barricaded behind some furniture. Next to him lay the body of his wife, Judy Henderson, who had been killed by a gunshot wound to the chest. Henderson didn't seem to notice that the police were there until they asked him what had happened and where his daughter was, but he didn't answer. Henderson was catatonic and was therefore admitted to Jenkins Mental Hospital, where he remained catatonic for 3 years. On the 3rd anniversary of his wife's death, June 15, 1956, he referred to a skinny man in a dark suit. He said that the tall man had tried to take his wife and child, and that his wife had asked him to shoot her in order to hinder the man. However, he said that he couldn't stop the man from taking his daughter. Less than 7 hours later, on the 16th of June, Henderson was found dead in his cell, having chewed through his wrists and bled to death. The body of his daughter, Tracy Henderson, was never found. However, a photograph taken of the farm about a week before shows what appears to be a tall man in a dark suit standing in front of the stable. Many believe this to be the Slender Man. Arguably the latest photographed case occurred in Sterling City from 1986 to 1987. Sterling City would appear to be a hotspot for the Slender Man sightings, and so it would seem during the mid-1980s. In the aftermath of a fire that occurred in Sterling City Library, they were able to recover a few photographs. One of them had been taken a week beforehand, on June 1st, 1986. This was the day that 14 children disappeared, followed nearly 2 weeks later by the disappearance of Mary Thomas, the one who took the photograph. 5 months later, the body of one of the children was found in the Great Swamp Nature Preserve, Kingston. Sheriff Jim Stolz told the press that evidence suggested he had been alive for at least 4 months after his disappearance. However, it was also reported that his body was found to be in a state of bizarre contortion, but the cause of death was never officially established. It appears that the Slender Man was attributed to the disappearance and mutilation of cats and dogs in the area at the time also. It was recorded that as many as 9 cats and dogs had gone missing since January that year, and had been found mutilated or disemboweled with such precision that the animal control officer, Joe Driscoll, was quoted as saying that it was rare that an animal would leave so much of the carcass uneaten. On July 12, 1987, the police got a call from David Elkins, the owner of the latest victim of the recent cat mutilations, on the grounds that his 8-year-old daughter, Katrina Elkins, had gone missing. The only witness of the disappearance was Katrina's 10-year-old sister, who shared the same bedroom. Alice told the sheriff that the last time she had saw her sister, she had been outside hugging the tall man. Alice also told him that this man had, over the previous weeks, been coming to their bedroom at night, tapping on the window, making faces, and watching the girls. Police dismissed this story immediately, as the bedroom window was on the 2nd floor of the house and with no means of access from the outside. The police statement pertaining to Alice's statement is as follows. Alice Elkins reported that on the night of her sister's disappearance, they were again awoken by a tapping on the glass. She heard her sister get out of bed and have a short conversation. When she didn't hear her sister get back into bed several minutes later, she got up and went to the window, where she saw her sister in the yard, hugging the tall man. According to witnesses, the man looked at her, grinned, and indicated that she was to come down as well with a snaky arm. It was at this point that Miss Elkins became extremely frightened and returned to bed. The tapping continued for several more minutes before it finally ceased. Katrina's body was never found. And now I'm going to discuss cultural influences on the Slender Man, or the Slender Man's influence on current culture. The Slender Man, like many other creatures, is popular in folklore, hence influencing the creation of many games. The most commonly known is Slender the 8 Pages. This game begins with the character spawning in a wood, and in the woods around them there are 10 permanent landmarks. The scary tree, the bathroom or the building, the tankers, the totem poles, the large rocks, the cross walls, the single tanker, the 2 vehicles, the tunnel, and the silo. There are notes stuck to 8 of them. Which 8 of these landmarks have the notes on them vary with each round. The aim is to collect all 8 pages without being caught by the Slender Man, who gets closer with every additional page collected. If caught by the Slender Man, the player must restart, collecting from the beginning with 0 pages. Another game inspired by the Slender Man is Slender the Arrival. In this game, the player must run from Slender Man, completing various tasks in order to gain passage to the next area. A game that is also very similar is Sanatorium. This is basically the same as Slender the 8 Pages, only the map is larger and set in a stone building, and the landmarks are unspecified. The concept of the Slender Man has also become widely popular as a method of pranking people. For example, someone may wait until their victim is in a room with a window at night and stand outside the window wearing a white mask and a suit. They may then tap on the window, attracting the attention of the person on the other side and scaring them. My conclusion to the case of the Slender Man is that some say he's real, some say he's not. But I think that he is a tulpa, which is a creature that has been wished into existence. So maybe he wasn't real before, or he was thought up, maybe, and it was just an idea. But with so many people thinking he was real and hoping to see the Slender Man, maybe he became real. Another theory is that if the Slender Man is in fact an idea, then if he visits you in a nightmare or hallucination, that idea has visited you, and therefore you have indeed seen the Slender Man. But as of yet, there is no real conclusion as to the authenticity of the claims that the Slender Man is real, the sightings, and there's really no more information on him. And if you yourself are planning to look into this more, I must caution you that because we don't know why the Slender Man does what he does, or how he does it, or how he chooses his victims, just be careful. Don't dig too deep.